human music. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Gotta relax.
This is Earth Radio. And now here's human music.
Human music. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Gotta relax.
This is Earth Radio. And now here's human music.
Human music. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Hello, ladies and gentlefish. We're back. Apologies. Apologize. Been away for a little bit. Things, tired, work, dying, all of the things. No spicy cough yet, so hey.
You say yes as if you intend on getting it.
Well, I'm gonna try never to get it, but you know.
That.
But given how many people at my workplace, Lizabelle in the background shouting "banned" at me. Yes, so things and stuff. Where are we? I'm gonna have to close some stuff momentarily. Sorry, bear with me. Rawr. I'm a fool. Music. Cool. Alright. Let me know in chat if that is loud enough or not. Yeah, we're doing we're doing Funguary still. Because I'm terrible at this. So yeah, for those who don't know, who have not been here at the channel for too long, we did a little art challenge called Funguary. The idea behind Funguary was the actual challenge was an artwork a week, and yeah, and I decided, well, that's clearly far too easy, so I decided to make it an artwork a day, and we've been doing very well. The plan wasn't to make proper, lovely, finished artworks, not like the sexy mushrooms or anything like that. The plan was to do these kinds of, like, quick doodle sketches. Thanks. Lizzie Bell in the background there.
No one can hear me.
I know, but I can, and it's funny, so I'm gonna laugh at it.
Everyone else can just assume I have a great sense of humour.
You do.
And not become aware of the fact that it's actually terrible and you just think I'm funny.
No, but it is a great sense of humour. Anyway, so the idea was just to practice getting more art done, because I did have a New Year's resolution, which I've totally been keeping to, which was to essentially do an artwork a day, so 15 minutes worth of some kind of creative pursuit. I have thought about artworks every single day, so I have been planning things in my head, but I haven't done a physical make something every single day. And so I was feeling kind of bad about that, which is why I decided to take Funguary up to the next level. Because originally it's only supposed to be sort of these 4 artworks, 1 a week. And also Lizzie Bell showed it to me, and I thought it was an amazing idea. I had to do it in some capacity. But the plan was to do a little bit more for it. And that kind of fell to the wayside. But I still wanted to get in the practice. I still wanted to do the things. So we've been making lots of these little mushroom drawings. Let's see if I can actually center this nicely. There we go. So we've been doing these nice mushroom drawings. Some of them have turned out really, really well. Like some of the details on these, like the detailing on this sort of like paper for the mushroom bouquet, and this whole like risotto dish I think just turned out amazingly. I don't like necessarily the structure of this, but I really like the detail on the inside. I think that one turned out really well. This little fungi dude, the top of this is amazing. I really like the pattern work, the detail, and then the kind of like white spotting. This could have been done a little better, but it's not bad. I think other than the thumb, those fingers are pretty good. I really like this mushroom monster mimic thing. Very cool. I like the... oh, shit. That is not what I meant to do. I really enjoyed this sort of fairy mushroom house thing. The detail on it I think works quite well, and the composition of that image is quite nice. I really like the aesthetic of this image, the kind of mood. I like that I didn't have to fill in the face as much. You still get a very good sense of the story. These angel caps are just pretty. Just very nice. And then these ones. Oh, again. So, Creepy Boy down here. I don't know about this. I don't like this on principle. It's a good artwork, but I don't like it. I don't think I have to like that one. This is a really nice one for, like, scale. I think I pulled that off quite well. I really, really like this tiny mushroom. I'm very tempted to get this as a tattoo. I do already have a tattoo basically exactly like this, but I would happily get this exact one, just because it's awesome. The mush cube is an interesting idea I came up with on the fly, and I kind of like this. I'm tempted to put something like this in my D&D campaigns. I don't know what it would do, but I like the idea of just like a cube that's sort of translucent glass, just packed with mushrooms. And it like does something. And then this owl's pretty good. I'm like owls, and I'm quite good at owls, so, or at least this sort of owl design. I do this owl design very often, so it's very well practiced. So that's last art session basically. We did these. So this was last Wednesday, I think. I was away yesterday. I apologize for that. We were gonna do Pokemon streaming, and then Lizzie Bell had a terrible day at work and was dying. I had a very long day at work and was also dying, so we self-cared. We just sat on the couch and watched movies. Watched through Doctor Who, actually. Which is awesome. We love Doctor Who. But the thing about that is self-care is super important, and you need to look after yourself. So while I apologize that I wasn't here, and apologize that I missed our beautiful cognitive bard, you know, it's important. Yeah, I'm not gonna not do that. So these days are going to happen. Yeah. And we haven't been here for many Fridays either, for Friday night drinks and stuff. We will be this week, yes. Which is super exciting. And then we've got D&D this weekend, which is even more exciting. Oh, gosh, so many good things. So, that's what's happening. That's where we're at. That's what's up. School work is a lot at the moment. Lots of people with COVID, lots of people not there because of COVID, which means that I'm working a lot more. And they've started putting me on classes other than art, which is very frustrating. But I did manage to get some artworks complete, so if you would like to go to my Instagram, which I will chuck in the chat, Instagram, there is 3 new artworks up there at the moment, which are basically some things that I've managed to get done on the days when I've been teaching, just in between classes and at lunchtimes and stuff. 2 of them are plans for an art show, an art challenge, an art competition that's coming up called Textures of One. I hope that I will get them done as actual artworks, but we'll see. I also have a commission that's sitting over there that I need to finish. That I actually really need to be doing very soon. I probably should have been doing it now, but this is important as well. So we're gonna do some art stuff today. We are finishing off Funguary. I know it's not February anymore, but I feel like I have to finish the challenge now that I've started it. So that's what we're doing today. We've got 5 more to go. So we're going to pump out 5 more little doodly sketch artworks, which probably should take us about an hour and a half. And then we're going to do some other artworks. I've got some artworks to finish for Cog, for his video thing. I've got artworks to finish for Lizzie Bell, for her book. I've got artworks to finish for me, just because I came up with an idea and I wanted to see it alive. So, we've got options, we've got things, we'll see how we go once we get to that point, but we're going to start by just getting to it. And I mean getting to it by waiting 17 minutes into the stream to start making art. Anyway, let's close these and we'll open up a new page. Feel free to berate me in the chat if you want. Do I want to work on A4? Yeah, I think I do. Is that what the others are? Oh, I don't know how I would tell. Let's check. There should be a properties. Dimensions. This is quite a bit smaller. Am I working off A5 maybe? Yes, I'm working off A5. Okay. You're the best. Isabel's going off to work. She's going to be a tired head. Yeah. But luckily I don't have work tomorrow yet. So I can stay home and give you cuddles. Because that's pretty awesome.
Incredibly important.
It is incredibly important. So we need to do... sorry, I'm a little close here, aren't I? There we go. Let's just fix this up. Turn on Tia Cam in a bit. She's just... Oh, sorry. She was asleep there. And I moved... Bye, lover. Drive safe. I shall. Sorry, just shit on my screen. I really need to clean my screen. It's a newish screen, so it's good, but like I do a lot of shit here, so let's zoom in a little. I'm gonna put something on the top here. So I think we have like one artwork here, one there, and then maybe one at the bottom, or we'll move on to the second page. I don't know what I want to draw though, is part of the problem. So I'm just gonna start sort of fussing and see if something comes to mind. At the moment, it's just like an oyster mushroom in my head. I'm just trying to think of like mushroomy things that are interesting that aren't just like a mushroom. Because as nice as that is, it's a little, I don't know, obvious. A lot of the Funguary drawings that I've been looking at on Instagram, by the people who actually made the challenge, and then or person, I should say, and then by like most of the people who are contributing to it. A lot of people are making like mushroom people, slightly akin to the. And I say slightly because... I should actually... I should be working on this layer. That was very silly of me. Do I undo all of this? Nah, fuck it. It'll just be there. What the fuck is this? S'mores. I remember this one. I'm going to get rid of that from the playlist. Because every time it comes up, I'm like, why is this on the playlist? Yeah. I have added some more songs to the playlist. We won't get to them for a little bit. I could skip ahead to them, I guess. But it's more of the same. Like lo-fi mix with a little bit of jazz, classical mixed in, a little bit of electro swing, and then sort of like the ambient lo-fi stuff that we're listening to now. It's a little bit boppy, but like not too much. So I always have this argument with kids at school, because they'll basically demand to listen to music, or ask repeatedly, depending on what sort of child they are. They're either asking repeatedly and annoying me about wanting to listen to music, and I'm like, yeah, no, I understand, but I'm just not supposed to let you. Or they'll like demand it. And then very often you'll end up with one student or a couple of students who are like, oh, there's been research done that shows that like listening to music can help you concentrate and helps you study and blah 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 blah. And I always think that like that's a great point. And so I usually go, yeah, I agree with you, but it like depends on what you're doing, kind of thing. And so, like if you're doing art, and I'm very sure you're going to concentrate while you're doing it, or if you're doing a little bit of study and it's not too concentration heavy, and I don't think it's going to like completely distract you, then I'll be like, yeah, sure. But the moment you're distracted, I'll confiscate the headphones or whatever. Which I think is a reasonable middle ground to take. Because there are a lot of teachers, especially at the schools that I've taught at, that are just hardline no. But the thing that they often don't realize from that, or I say sort of a few things, but within that study itself, because I've gone to look up the study, and yes, it does help you remember things. Yes, it does help you concentrate, but it's only to a certain degree, and it's only with certain things. So certain activities are aided by musical accompaniment in the background, and it's certain types of music. Music with lyrics tends to be more distracting than it is helpful in study. It's not helpful for every person. It's different based on like various factors. And if it's a song you know super well, it's usually okay. But if it's a song that you just know well enough to like sing the lyrics to, or like sort of sing along to, then your brain is more occupied with trying to learn the song than it is actually, doing whatever else it is you're doing. So it's actually more distracting to listen to a song you don't know very well whilst you're doing something else. And this is compounded when the activity you're doing requires you to either write or read. So a lot of kids will want to listen to music while they're, doing whatever work they're doing that happens to be like a writing task or whatever. And the lyrics in the song and the like trying to learn the music, the brain trying to learn the music, actually distracts them more than just the idle background of the room would. So they're kind of wrong. I like sort of not arguing with them for this one, because they actually bothered to go and find research to agree with them, and I think that's a good thing to foster. Like, rather than arguing with them on every single point about it, just being like, yeah, no, that's a good point. Like, there is research that suggests something like that. I don't think it's every situation necessarily, but in this particular situation, I'll allow it until it is clear that it is a distraction. That way, encouraging them to, research things that back up their points, that find evidence for the things that you want to talk about. It can be dangerous to encourage that kind of thing, because then you get into the realm of like cognitive bias. If it's not like challenged, if they're only looking for things that agree with them and then ignoring all the other things, then that's potentially bad. But yeah, anyway, that's our thing, and probably more information than you needed about that subject. I've been doing a lot of so I'm a casual teacher, for those who don't know. Most of you who are watching, most of you on the channel have known that already or found that out in the past. But yeah, I'm a high school casual teacher. So that means like a sub teacher. I come in when other teachers are away, sick or for whatever reason. And I take over their classes. They usually leave me work, but not always. It's very annoying when they don't leave me work, but it does happen a fair bit. And I basically have to teach their subject, so I will I'll do a little bit of research ahead of time, and then based on my own just bank of knowledge, I'll do my best to assist the students in learning whatever the topic area is, and we go through it together. My subject areas are art and religion. I'm also fairly decent with science and English, though I do have my drawbacks with English, being that I'm dyslexic. This oyster mushroom is looking pretty good. It's sort of hard to tell what it is without knowing that it's an oyster mushroom. Like, once you say oyster mushroom, you go like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. But until that point... Anyway, we'll move on to the next object. Something in here. What was I saying? Yeah, so art and religion are my subjects, and then I have a comfortableness with most humanities subjects. I'm not great at history because of all the memorization of dates. My memory is not amazing. The understatement. But I'm pretty good at it. Generally, the sort of concepts and knowing, you know, what led into what kind of thing. And then, like, math is not a great subject for me, but I don't mind it. What I dislike is PE. Physical education. Which is basically like sport. And then you have personal development and health, which is like your phys ed, sex ed, drug safety, relationships, child rearing, that kind of stuff. It's all the health sciences sort of crammed into one subject, and then like pastoral care, essentially. I don't like the physical education side of it, because I'm not a very sporty person. I don't mind playing sports. I don't mind engaging with it. I have no interest in watching it. I have no interest in refereeing it. The fact that it's not like just one thing, like if it was just, you know, every single time tennis or every single time soccer or whatever, you know, I'd be on board, because at least eventually I could get good enough and confident enough with it that I could be like, yeah, I can do this, I can ref this, I can you know, play along with them or whatever. The problem is that it's like, it's a different fucking thing every time. And it's often shit that, like, the kids don't even really want to do. Like, some of them are engaged, but most of them just don't care. And it's hard to, like... It's hard to get people engaged with something when you yourself are just not super engaged with it either. And, like, I understand why sport is important, why physical education is important, like as a subject and then also just as a concept. So it's not like I can't explain the reasoning behind why the kids have to do it. It makes sense to me. The problem I often have is that, like, why they have to do that particular sport, why they have to do, you know, that particular thing on that particular day, and then getting the kids engaged, knowing that there are a lot of them who just aren't physically minded like that. They're just not sports people. And, you know, the argument you can make is that, like, lots of people aren't minded in certain ways. So, you know, why do we make them do maths, for example, if they're not mathematically minded? Why do we make them do history if they're not history minded or whatever? There is the same argument you can make for, like, physical education and sport. You can make for each of those subjects, that, like, it is important, generally speaking, to have an understanding of basic math. It is important, generally speaking, to have a basic understanding of history and how, you know, history itself works. There is a basic fundamental need for you to be healthy and to be able to participate in like a group sporting activity, like team building, blah 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 blah. All that makes sense, but it's still hard to get people to want to do it, and it's particularly hard to get people to want to do it in situations where, like, if it's not been pushed in your childhood, you might not be very physically prepared to be able to do it. Like, you don't have the motor skills very, like, down pat yet. For ladies, they might have, you know, their period or whatever. For guys, it might just be like an off day. And we kind of have to force them to engage to do it, because unlike with a lot of other subjects, unlike with, you know, maths or science or history or whatever, if one or two kids is distracted and off task, like, it doesn't help the class. It definitely is a thing that other students will point to and be like, oh, well, he's off task, sir, so why do I have to do the work, kind of thing. But generally speaking, you can be like, yeah, they're not feeling well, you know, they're gonna come back and do it in a minute, they're just taking a quick breather, or yeah, they're distracted, but I'll tell them off in a second, and then we'll get back to it. You still need to do your bit. As soon as someone does that sports-wise, like, as soon as someone is not engaged sport-wise, like, that's it for, like, a good quarter of the class. They'll just be like, oh, that person doesn't have to play, well then fuck it, I'm not doing it. You'll have a lot of girls being like, if someone else, like, legitimately has, you know, bad period cramps, they have endo or whatever, or you know, just legitimately not feeling well, or if one of the boys has, like, an injury, even if it's minor, or if they are just not feeling well, if they had a particularly bad week or whatever, as soon as they notice that, then everybody else starts feigning some kind of illness or injury, or they're suddenly on their period as well, and it's, you know, it's a struggle to then get 30 kids to, like, fucking engage. Made significantly harder by the fact that I myself am not actually a PE teacher, so, like, I can't tell just by looking what an injury that would stop someone from being able to play one of these games is. I can't tell just from looking, you know, a lot of these things. So that's tricky, and that's frustrating and annoying, and I dislike doing it. I enjoy the physical development side of it, and personal health side of it. The one that's like, you know, sex ed and drugs and you know, how to look after yourself, and, you know, what society is actually like, and how to treat, you know, partners and relationships with the care that they deserve, and all that kind of stuff. That's interesting to me because it's just a fascinating thing in general. Like, it's sociology. So that's sort of generally an interesting thing. But also it feels like it's the place that I can kind of do the most good in teaching. I can help artists grow, but art is a kind of tricky thing where you kind of need to do the thing on your own first. You need to get pretty good at doing your own thing before you can really like, get strong advice from someone else. You can be tutored, you can have, like, tutorials on things and work to get better, but, like, if you don't have a strong understanding of art, then a lot of that is just you picking up, like, technique rather than concept. If you don't have a strong understanding of, like, how lighting works and how you can manipulate space in like a 2D plane or a 3D plane, and if you haven't played around with that enough, it's very hard to like teach someone that. You pick that up through practice more than anything else. This is why you do a lot of like experimenting with forms and things when you're first learning to sort of do art, and a lot of like play with color or play with texture and things like that, because there's really no other way to learn to do it other than just like getting in there and then physically doing it. You can sort of be walked through the concept by someone else, but it doesn't really stick in your mind, or at least I haven't found anybody for whom it really stuck until they actually started making something based on the concept. And like I've been teaching art for 9 years now, of varying levels. So like I've been teaching HSC level, which is like 18-year-olds, so like basically adults, and then all the way down to like 12, 11-year-olds. I've done a couple of classes for younger kids, but at that point it's more play than it is, you know, structured learning, which is fine. That's important too. I had a point to all this. Well, Tia, how you doing? We should turn on Tia Cam because she's just being adorable over there. Oh, she's turned around. Let's see if we can quickly catch her. There she is. Oh, Tia Cam. Adorable. Now, where was I? Yeah, like the difference between art and some other subjects is like you sort of have to do it to sort of benefit from any extra help. That comes to a point where like you start drawing like the basic shape of an eye, and you can get the tutorial on a basic shape of an eye, but to jump from being able to draw, you know, the same eye over and over again to being able to draw any eye in any sort of position requires two very different things. One is like practicing a technique, like finding an image and just copying it, and then the second one is being able to understand that an eye exists in 3 dimensions, and that like light reflects off it in a particular way, and that it's structured in a particular way that you'll be able to see certain things from certain angles, and that moving that in 3 dimensions means on a 2D plane it then becomes warped in its perspective and things like that. That's really only stuff you pick up. Like, you can pick up conceptually most of that stuff to a degree, but the majority of you understanding that and being able to apply it is via you making artworks, by you studying an eye and drawing it out multiple times. And then it kind of becomes like inherent to your drawing style, that you understand aspects of those things. What are we going to do for the next artwork? So, it can be difficult for me to feel like I'm making a huge impact in that subject, in art. Because other than just sort of encouraging artists who are already working, and then like people who are like, oh, I can't art, and then, you know, getting them to at least make something. It can be difficult to feel like you're making a huge impact until you get up to the really high-end stuff, and then you're working with someone who kind of knows what they're doing already, and then it's a back and forth. part of that is I really should be teaching at a higher level. I should be teaching at a university level, because I'm not really cut out for younger education, I think. But there's a lot of stuff I need to do to get to that point. Part of which is my own. I need to do more study. I need to, be able to have at least a master's, so I'm doing my PhD so that I can teach at university level. But also just my technical skills. I could do with a significant increase in my technical skills. I am not bad by any means. I know I'm not. But I kind of think if you're going to be teaching someone at that level, you kind of need to be really good. That's more a personal thing, though. That's not actually the case. I know quite a few of my own lecturers at university. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to sound mean about this, because that is not my intention. I'm not saying they were bad as artists. I'm just saying their technical skill level was not super broad or super exhaustive. And the technical skills they had specifically in the subject that we were learning was very specialized. They could do one or two things really, really well, and then a few other things decently. And I kind of think if you want to teach at that level, like at a university level, you should have a pretty solid foundation of it. Almost everything. But that's really fucking hard, because art is an exhaustive practice. Almost anything can be art if you try hard enough. I don't know what to do for... I'm stumped. We could do a mushroom stump, I guess. Do another mushroom tree. Just like a... Oh, that's on a race. Do like a mush stump. Like someone's cut down a mush tree. Is this the new music? It is! Hey, we're onto the new music. If anybody in chat would like to chat about anything in particular, please do let me know. I'm open to whatever. I'm not feeling that necessarily. Let's... Brain, come on. Mush Dragon. There we go. We'll be playing more D&D this weekend, which is super exciting. We're finally getting our level up. We were supposed to get it not last week, but the week before. But the session ended just prior to the point that the DM had decided. Our lovely DM, Cognitive Bard, who is an awesome DM. Awesome friend of mine, yeah, we finished up just prior to getting to the next town, which is where we were supposed to get our level up, because one of our players had to go and do a thing, which is totally fair. A little frustrating, but you know, that's the game, really. The game is a little frustrating most of the time. Anything with dice is gonna be. But yeah, I'm excited. I've got my Warforged Paladin, which is what I'm playing, and my lovely Warforged Paladin is leveling up to level 8, which means a few options really, but the one I think I'm gonna take. So here's the options I could take, and then I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. But I'm a Warforged Paladin, Oath of Vengeance. I currently have the Polearm Mastery feat. So I use a halberd, because of course. And as an Oath of Vengeance Paladin, I get to do lots of bullshit things with my opportunity attacks and my smitiness, and because I'm a Polearm Master, I get 3 attacks per round, all of which can use Divine Smite. It's amazing. So that's very fun, and that's sort of where we're at the moment. What I can do now at level 8. I could get an ability score increase, which would increase 2 of my stats up by it would make them even, which means that I would get an increase in my my rolling stat. What is the term for that? Why am I blanking on this? Basically, every even number counts as a sort of a stat change. So 14 gives you +2, because it's anything above 10. 10 is 0. 12 is +1. 14 +2. So like every even. And then as you go down, anything below a 10. So 8 is -1. 6 is -2, etc., etc. I am at 19 and 15 for 2 of my stats. So I could go up by 2 points. Ability score increase, I can go up by 1 in 2 things. And that would give me 2 stat boosts, basically. Which is pretty big. Increase in damage, and chance to hit, because it would be strength for one of them. And it would increase my effectiveness with my spells, essentially. Charisma, being a paladin. Which would be pretty cool. And potentially is one of the options. I don't think it's the option I'm going to take, and I'll tell you why once we sort of work our way through all the things. The second option, and this is kind of a more tricky one because it's sort of not really an option. I could multiclass into cleric. What this would do for me is it would get me extra first level spells, so more Divine Smite, which would be awesome because we don't get a whole lot. I would get cleric cantrips, which means I could get guidance. I could get light, which would be awesome. Is Spare the Dying a cantrip? Might be. Anyway, there's a few cantrips that I could pick up. I think I get 3, or I can get up to 3. Or it might just be 2. I'll have to double check. But that would be pretty fracking awesome. Cantrips provide a lot of versatility, especially in like non-combat things, and because I want to be spending pretty much all of my spell slots on Divine Smite, I don't want to be spending much of my magical energy on anything else. So having cantrips, which don't get used up, would be pretty awesome. The extra first level spells are great because I don't really need any super high level spells. There are a couple I want, but like I'd have to get pretty far in my paladin levels before I start getting anything fun like that. So it actually kind of makes more sense to get more first level spells out of the multi-class than it does to just continue on with Paladin. Though there are some fun things with Paladins that I would want to get. And it kind of makes sense thematically. My character is fairly heavily religious and is leaning very heavily into the religion aspect of it. The Oath of Vengeance was not made for religious reasons, so the kind of religious calling within the oath is kind of less important to the character. Sort of spoiler alert slightly. The religiosity of the character is not the be-all and end-all of the character. It's actually one of the minor aspects of the character. For those listening who actually know about the campaign, or who end up watching the eventual videos that will be made of it, because they definitely will be. Yeah, the Oath of Vengeance is sort of the more important thing, and the tie to a deity is sort of a means to an end, rather than the devotion to that god being the important aspect. That's why he's an Oath of Vengeance and not Oath of anything else, devotion or blah blah blah. It is his drive to complete the things he is oathed to do that gives him his power, not necessarily the god who he is being patronized by, I guess is the way to say that. But yeah, so leaning more into the faith thing, because he is doing that to a fair amount at the moment, would be on brand, would be interesting as a thing to do. So multi-classing as cleric makes sense from a purely story perspective. But you have to have wisdom 13, I believe, to be able to multi-class into cleric. I have enough charisma and strength to multi-class out of paladin, but I don't have the ability score currently to be able to multi-class cleric. So it would have to be a like dodgy by the DMs okay kind of thing. And while I think he would, I would have to be careful about that kind of thing, because then we're homebrewing some stuff once again. And we try very hard and do quite well to balance our homebrews, but I think if the rule exists, it kind of makes a little more sense to follow it as it's written, unless there is a specific reason not to. The fact that my character has been like literally touched by the gods because he went and met them in the in their plane of existence, kind of would give us the out to be like, well, he's a special case. But that being said, it would be a little doing the dodge. So I would be hesitant and careful about doing something like that for myself, in as much as I would have to be hesitant and careful about doing it for someone else as well, like in my games that I run. So that's an option. It's probably not the option I'm going to go with. The final one is to pick up the obvious choice, given that I have Polearm Mastery and a Halberd, is to pick up the Sentinel feat and stay on the Paladin course. Stay the course. So I would become an 8th level Paladin, which, doesn't get me a lot of amazing things. But what it does get me with Sentinel is a whole bunch of extra bullshit that I get to do. Opportunity attacks would mean that I stop people from moving on a successful hit. I can attack things that have even disengaged from me, so you can't get away. And then if anybody attacks anybody else that I'm standing next to, I also get to attack them. As in, if an enemy attacks my friends, I get to attack the enemy. Does use up a fair bit of my reactions, which is frustrating. It would be nice to get extra reactions, but that's fine. If I don't choose the cleric route this time, I'm probably going to end up playing a cleric at some point, because it's a character I haven't played yet, character class I haven't played yet, and I would like to, because it seems like fun. I'm going into way more detail on this dragon than I think I need to, but it's looking pretty good. I like it. I'm digging it. I think that's good. We'll move on to the next one. Sorry, my talks are all over the place today. We jumped from physical education and me having a whinge about school to D&D. But I guess that's why some of you are here. You want to listen to the mad ramblings. I probably should have been thinking of something to draw. Shouldn't I have? Oh, I know. I know exactly what we're going to draw next. How do I want to do this? I was, I could do some D&D art. I need to finish my Funguary drawings first. But yes, D&D art is coming. D&D, I'll probably be doing it after this. How's that? We were just talking D&D. Oh, I've lost what I was thinking now. Oh, that's right. You vaguely heard in the background. Very good. I was singing your praises, by the way. That's our DM, ladies and gentlemen. The wonderful cognitive bard. The most wholesome of eggs. The goodest of boys. So I'm gonna draw a glass of mushroom spirit, which I have never tried myself, but I know exists as a thing, and oh boy. Special kind of something something. What was I saying? Yes. I was no, it's gone. Sorry, it's been one of those days. My brain's not all there. Something about Critical Role. I was listening to Critical Role. What the fuck was it? Come on, brain. You can do it. No. It is just not coming back. No, I've definitely lost it. Ah well, kind of important. Because I don't think it's cleric thing. There are some awesome clerics on Critical Role. Currently, just Lavore and Caduceus Clay. Cad. Slight spoiler alert there. Cad doesn't come in for a little bit in the series. But it's fine. You'll get there if you're listening. I'm almost at the end, actually. I'm like episode 90, I think. And some shit is going down. I'm still not sure who the big bad is at the moment. Because there's a pretty big. I mean, it's not a plot twist necessarily, but there's a thing that happens in the thing, and I won't spoil it for anybody, but like who I thought was gonna be the big bad now potentially isn't. I don't know. So it's a tricky situation, I guess. But we've still got like 10 episodes, 12 episodes. So there's time for something to prop up. So I'll just have to hang on, I guess. Not erase. There we go. Oh, I had on the weekend pancake fluffy, jiggly Japanese pancakes. Oh my god, so good. I had them with maple syrup and caramelized, very caramelized, like to the point of toffee, banana. Oh, so good. And then we had these amazing dumplings in the city. Good times. Went and had some dude time with my pals. Because I missed them. It's been a while. Hadn't seen or talked to them in fucking ever. Quite a few of them because like I only really ever see them in the city. They are my old drinking buddies. But yeah, we went out and got a nice meal. One of them is no longer drinking anymore, which kudos to him. Very good for him. Very proud of him for that. And another one is basically cutting back, though he's been cutting back for a while, so it makes sense. I have been cutting back, but not voluntarily. Mainly just because there's less drinking to be done out where I live. And I'm a busy man these days. It's hard to find the time. But yeah, it was nice to see everybody. And we had these awesome fucking pancake things, and if you have a chance, you should go and try them. Because, buddy, where have you been on my life? They're essentially these like super fat pancakes, like that thick, fucking huge. They're just so good. It's just so good. It's no wonder I gained weight when I got older, because I clearly like food. Yeah, as a young lad, I had a great metabolism, and I could eat anything I fucking wanted. I used to have whole chickens from a Porto. For those who don't know what a Porto is, it's a like a charcoal chicken and burger place here in Australia, in New South Wales. I think they have it other places, but it started here. It started in Bondi. They've got a burger called Bondi Burger. And yeah, I used to be able to eat a whole chicken and like not have any issue at all. Like didn't gain weight. I did do a lot more walking. I did do a lot more like sort of incidental exercise when I was younger. And this is like up until uni days. But yeah, since my like 27 through to 30 ish, like all of that has stopped. Just I will eat a little something and get bloated. The lack of exercise doesn't help. I've noticed I have a much more sedentary life than I used to. And so I should do something about that. I should get back to trying to exercise more, because that is an important. And words are hard. That looking pretty good. I'm gonna come in and just clean up some of these edges. I know it doesn't need to be perfect, but you know. Make it a little better. I might as well make it a little better, right? Anyway, yeah. So the lack of exercise, I think, is probably the bigger thing. But my metabolism definitely took a dive as I got older, and so I put on some weight, which is fine. It's not as healthy as it could be, and I probably should do something about it. But I'm still fucking beautiful. Do not let your weight define you. Do not let you feel like, or let society tell you that you are not as good because of a fucking number on a scale. But also because realistically, most people don't actually give a shit. Like most ladies. And there is some contention around things like this, or about what I'm just about to say. But most ladies will tell you that, like, they're pretty keen on, like, a bear type, a dad bod type. And I think you'd be hard pressed to find a man who doesn't like a fuller figured lady. So don't stress that kind of stuff. Even more so because, like, realistically, your looks are a very small part of an equation, much of which is centered around, like, you know, are you a good person? Are you fun? Are you happy? Are you interesting? Do you get out and do exciting things? That's way more important to most people in a partner than your, like, dress size or your weight. Yeah, attractiveness is important, like being able to carry the weight well, and what I mean by that is, like, dressing in a way that is flattering, or you know, working with your assets, that kind of stuff. But that is not at all to say that, like, you're unattractive if you weigh over a certain amount, or if you're not attractive conventionally, pop culturally, then you're never going to find anybody, because that's just not at all fucking true. I know some people who I would say are, like, definitely not attractive, and not attractive to me specifically, but also, like, not conventionally attractive, and they, you know, have had partners for the longest time, and many partners, because they're interesting people, and they have, you know, vibrant lives that they do things with, and they engage people in an interesting way, and, yeah, that's... Anybody can do that. And it's not easy, but anybody can do it. 4 down, 1 to go. We're gonna have to move on to our next slide, but that's looking pretty good. I'm liking this bottle. I think I might wanna... Actually, I'll just quickly chuck down a shadow here, I think. While we're having our wholesome chats. That is not what I wanted to do. Like there-ish. Yeah, that's it. Little one. That's pretty good. Wow. Perfect. Alright, next one. Mush something. I could redo this that skull I did, I guess. Do the first one again. See how we've improved. Actually, I'm just gonna do our skull. I'm not doing this amazingly. But we'll just do the general. The general outline. First. This is not great. I should probably get up a... I'm doing it on the fucking background layer. Alright, let's just ditch this entirely and start again. Ah! What a fool! What a fool I have been! There we go. Alright, let's start this again. Yeah, so like not fretting over these kinds of things. I don't know where I'm going with this. Just it is important to keep a perspective on this kind of stuff, I guess, because like it can fuck up your life pretty good. If you think you're not, you know, worth it just because of your, you know, physical attributes or whatever. And that is bad. Obviously, but like bad specifically because it's kind of not even true. And by kind of, I mean not at all. Because yeah, there are definitely people who are shallow and shitty, or there's people who have, you know, like very specific preferences and stuff. But the majority of the people aren't that picky. The majority of the people are actually a lot more accommodating than you would otherwise think, or they actually find more things attractive than you would expect. And like that heavily includes like people who are larger. I have never understood the supermodel thing. I've dated a couple of people who are like not supermodel, or definitely not like model, but like I've dated some models, but like not that typical, you know, size 0 Americanized thing. I'm not into that. I have no interest in dating someone like that. Especially because they tend to be significantly less interesting, significantly more shallow people. Generalization. And people who are a little bit less conventionally attractive, who definitely still attractive, tend to be much more interesting because they've had to try a little harder in life. And I don't know if they had to try a little harder because, you know, society as a whole is shit. And, like, enjoys listening to the bullshit that it puts out. Or if it's because of some, like, self-perceived thing, where if you're not the perfect whatever, then you know, you feel like you have to, like, self-mutilate or emotionally, not physically, but, you know, those things often go hand in hand. So, like, there's the... For men, it is also, you know, physicality. It's a lot of that as well. But there's also an emotional component that I think doesn't happen as much with women. Of that, like, you have to, like, fit into this very particular idea or style of masculinity. What people would sort of often describe these days as like toxic masculinity, but just kind of like a hyper masculinity or a very particular form of masculinity that you know, into sports and cars, and is sort of less about the feelings, a little bit more analytical, very domineering or aggressive. I don't know if anybody else can see it, but I can see another little skull in here. It was entirely an accident, but I kind of dig it. So we're just gonna put that in there for the second. We'll probably take it out afterwards, but I kind of like that that's there. Anyway, what was I saying? But yeah, that same idea of like young boys and young men feeling like they have to like kill their emotions and kill their, you know, whatever, the non-masculine things they're interested in, to fit into this idea of masculinity. I think there is an aspect of like the same thing happening with our physicality, that people feel like they need to fit in this with this idea of like young, fit, skinny, blah blah blah, you know, whatever. For some it's, you know, white, for others it's, you know, exotic and tanned, olivine skin and all that kind of stuff. And so they'll go out of their way to the point of like physically mutilating themselves via overworking, starving themselves, bulimia, anorexia, over-exercise, like muscle building, or over-exercise, cardio, to the point where they're like literally breaking aspects of their body to fit into this sort of ideal that they've been sold, that most people don't actually give a shit about. And this is where the sort of the idea of it falls down for me, and why I think it's kind of a self-mutilation thing and not really a like, well, society has done this to you ish. Because society is definitely selling you an idea of how you should look. So don't get me wrong there. I'm not trying to claim that it's like it's all in your head. But I think if you asked and polled most people, the general response you would get is, like, yes, that person is attractive, but not like significantly more attractive than anyone else. And there have been studies that sort of, some studies that support this, and then some studies that definitely don't. And this is where it gets difficult, because like, there are definitely people for whom that perfect Barbie body, or the, you know, the perfect muscular guy is the ideal. Like, there are people who have that preference. But at the same time, there are probably a significant portion of people for whom they really don't care, or their preference is significantly wider than we're giving credit for. Men are very visual creatures, on average, generally speaking. Women tend to be more thinky-feely, a little. But that average is like pretty small, really. The differences, our similarities are closer than our differences, and really in these sorts of situations, like, it's pretty easy to say that, like, sorry, I'm just noticed something that I need to fix up. which has been staring me in the face the whole time, so I should have noticed it earlier, but... There we go. I was saying something there. Similarities, differences, preferences. That kind of like, oh, the ideal man or the ideal woman or whatever, is actually a lot more lucid and loose than I think we give credit for. Because there are a lot of people who are like, you know, yeah, I'd date a bodybuilder, but I'd also date someone with a dad bod, and both of them are equally attractive to me. I would date a woman who has G-sized boobs or an A cup, and both is awesome because boobs. Like that kind of middle ground leeway, I think, is not given enough credit. And while we are sold in society that like certain things are better, generally speaking, most people don't buy into that as much as... Don't buy into it for other people. They buy into it for themselves a lot. Because even I've fallen into this trap that like, you know, oh, like, you know, girls have this specific preference. And I have experience of like girls literally telling me that, you know, you're not this, so I don't want to date you. Or like, you need to do this so that I will date you, so that you can be more like this. Which, you know, was shitty and frustrating, but, you know, they have their preference. The thing I found often was that the people who are parroting that idea, and it's often the one that's like, you know, you need to be super muscly toned and bodybuilder and you know, conform to this idea I have in my head of what an attractive man is. Are the kind of ones who haven't really spent a lot of time thinking about it, and they're literally just parroting what they've heard. Once they get that, they actually realize, oh, that's not actually what I'm attracted to at all. It's just a thing. And as much as in the past I've tried to be like, fit into some of that idea, or you know, got cut up because I wasn't, I was simultaneously very attracted to what would be considered non-conventionally attractive women. So I was a great test subject for myself to be like, hey, actually, you know, I don't care about this, so am I sure that other people care this much about it? And if they don't, then why am I trying so hard to like fit into that idea? Why is it so important that, you know, I look or be a certain way, especially if I don't give a shit? Not that I don't give a shit, but like if I'm not buying into the bullshit that that I'm being fed by mainstream whatever, is it likely that other people are also not buying into that same bullshit, and therefore I should probably just like take a step back and not care as much? And as time went on, that's exactly what happened. I stopped caring as much. I stopped trying so hard to fit myself into a box that I didn't really fit into. You know, I went out and did things that I enjoyed, and as I did the things that I enjoyed, and I lived my life as me, you know, people started responding to that authenticity, and started engaging with me, and I did a lot better in my life, I think. Your mileage will vary. I am just a rambly talky man on the internet. So don't take any of my advice to heart too much. Or Tia in the background there, just licking away. Licky daughter, hi. Oh, yawn, Skookia. Is the music very quiet at the moment? It is a little bit. Turn it up ever so slightly. Yeah, so I don't know. Don't take anything I say too seriously, I guess. I don't know. I want to be like, it's good to, be you and blah blah blah. But like, but then also like, in defense of the people who are like, well, society is like this. Yeah, a little bit. I've dated a fair amount of girls who have been particularly shitty about things based on my physicality, and I'm not at all. Hey, best followers, primes, and viewers. Think not. Thought I had a new friend come in then. Alright, let's fuck this up with some mushrooms. I'm just gonna stick them over the top. So where do we want to put them? I think we just like one there, one here, one coming here. Obviously one under the eyeball, because why not? And then maybe a couple of small ones up here, just like little tiny cluster of mushies. Where was I? I really should do those two back behind all this, shouldn't I? That's fine. Fuck it. Fuck it. Yeah, I have dated a fair amount of girls who had their specific issues, and those specific issues tended to be like I wasn't conforming to their idea of what a man should be, kind of thing. And their idea of a man was sort of fairly self-serving for them, but also had some very specific sort of like you have to be a very particular type of masculine, you have to be a very particular type of blah blah blah. And like any deviation away from that was met pretty heavily with scorn. I've had quite abusive partners in the past, for anybody who isn't aware of that. But I would still like to sort of hope that they're the minority, I guess, the minority of people. Because, I've talked to people before then and since then who sort of say, well, no, that's not how I think, or that's not how I feel, and that's not how most people think or feel, etc., etc. and I like to take people at face value, so I will sort of hope that's the case, and conduct myself accordingly. And part of that conducting myself accordingly is the advice I give to other people is based on that line of thinking. That generally speaking, people are less interested in that like pop psych version of what people should be and what they should look like, and is a little bit more interested in people just sort of authentically being themselves. Which I do honestly believe to be the case. I do think that, you know, people are more interested in you being you more than anything else. I think there is a small subset of it that's like socially ingrained, that certain things are like deal breakers or preferences or whatever that people wouldn't normally have. I think there is an aspect of that. That is a thing. Definitely. That comes out in people. But by the same token, or sort of simultaneously at the same time, that if you're being authentically you, that's way more important to people, generally. I don't have work tomorrow at the moment, and honestly, given how tired I am, and how much I've been working, I might just not go in and not quite chuck a sickie, but just be like, oh, you know, I can't work today, sorry. Because as a casual, I get to do that. It just means no money. We don't get sick leave as casuals, which sucks. You get paid for the day you're there. We do get paid a little better than our counterparts, but we don't get any benefits, so we're actually worse off. We also don't get holiday pay or sick leave or like crisis pay or anything like that. So if there is an issue, we don't get paid. So for example, coronavirus, didn't get paid during coronavirus. When the lockdowns and things were a thing, when the schools were closed. I did go in, I was teaching physically in the school for some of the days, but any day otherwise I did not make any money, which sucked. Luckily Lizzie Bell works more and better than I do, because otherwise we might have been in trouble there. What was I up to? I think I was sort of just generally rambling, I think, at that point. So yeah, I don't know. If in the chat you want to sound off, or if something I've said, you know, particularly resonates with you, or the exact opposite. If you feel particularly offended by something I've said, you know, please let me know. You can message me on the Discord. You can message me on here on Twitch, or you can message me. Where else could you message me? There's a few places around that you could try and message me on. I'm very happy to chat about the things at any point in time if you wish to. If you're struggling, please do let me know, because I'll see what I can do to help you out. We try and be wholesome beings on this channel, in our little group as well as a whole. So if you're struggling, please do let us know. If you are struggling particularly with this concept, with this idea that we've just been talking about, yeah, let us know. We can try and sort something out, or just kind of like generally chat about, you know, these kinds of things, because it's difficult. I know because I'm an 18 plus stream that most of the people listening are probably 18 plus, or at least I fucking hope you are. But like it can still be hard to like know where you're at. 18 is basically still a child. I'm 30. 32 now. And I still feel like a child at times. Like, not actually a child, but just like, what the fuck's going on with my life? I am liking this. It's a lot more detailed than I had planned to do. I think we are actually going to bring this layer up so that we can do some white in the background here. Let's bring it all the way up and then size it up a little, just so that we can... Good. Yeah, I like that. And then probably here. Actually, we'll just do it on this layer and we'll do it lowered opacity. Just want to lighten some of these areas a little. This reminds me of this song. Reminds me of in Cowboy Bebop, the ballad in that. That's looking pretty good. This is looking pretty goo. If I do say so myself. I like the skull within a skull. That was a happy accident. I'm not sure the face is quite right. It's got a 5 head, a bit of a 5 head going on. And ooh, those what are they called? The like the back of the jaw hinge. These little bits here. That is very wide out. If I was going to fix this, actually, let's do that, because this is a thing I don't often do on stream, and I feel like I probably should, just so that people can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so no, turn the opacity way up. So the head should actually be there. This face is too long. The teeth should start here. So just ever so slightly higher. That jaw line is pretty good. Those eyes could probably be a little further apart. Probably going to there. The nose and brow ridge could actually probably be raised slightly. This is really good. I like that. This is fine. That's good. This jawline should probably come down rather than out. It needs to be higher. Finish higher. So, like that. that is the actual line of that skull. So smaller top ridge, smaller bottom ridge. I've elongated it too much is basically the issue there. Oh, did I do that on the wrong layer? Fuck! Okay, let's undo all of that. Whoop. As always. I'm stupido. Is that far back as I can go? Control Z. Oh no, there you go. The rest of them are coming off now. There was just a lot in that one area, I guess. All right. Stupid. Yeah, okay, so that's our Funguary stuff done. What time is it? It is 10:17. We're gonna keep going. I don't have to be up tomorrow-ish. Specifically, I don't have to be alive for a lot of tomorrow. Not until we play Valheim. Because Lizzie Bell is going to be asleep for much of it. Let's do a bit of that. Give it some ground, and then we'll erase. Oh, nope. We will erase. There we go. Erase all this. Yeah, I don't have to be alive because I am just gonna say no to work tomorrow, which is a good thing that I can do. Do I like that? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Slightly. Okay, cool. All right, so what we've done so far is we have done these lovely 4 drawings. Oyster mushroom, a something cap, I forget the name of it. Then we have this lovely fungus dragon, and then we have our fungal liqueur. And then we have this funky skull, which is kind of an emulation of the first thing we did. Okay, so we're going to bring up the... What are we going to do, actually? Let's have a look at our list. We've got to do a dwarf being violated, and a dwarven wall being inspected by, I believe, it was Pono, Ileana, and Hastor? Question mark. Yeah. I honestly don't know what I want to do for either of those. I have a stupid idea for one of them. Which I guess we could start doing, but like it's not going to be the actual one that we end up doing. I'm going to save these before I end up fucking them up by, you know, just losing the page or whatever. So that's mush 6, and this will be mush skull. Save as mush. Mush skull 2, because we already have a mush skull. All right, back to working. Yeah, the idea I had for the Fire Lady Dwarf was gonna be this. I'll start drawing it out for you. It was gonna be this stupid. Why can I not? Oh, I'm erasing. That's fine. There you go. It was gonna be this stupid like dwarf, sort of like bent over a table kind of thing with like a maid outfit on. And then he was going to be like blushing. And he was going to be like one finger up like, oh, you caught me. But like, I don't know if you can see where this is going kind of thing. It was going to be like one of them like pin-up style. Anyway, it was a stupid idea. It was a stupid idea I had, and I really should not be putting as much effort into drawing it out as I have because it's stupid. And I know it's stupid, but I didn't think it was a funny idea at the time. Anyway. Oh, I'm tired and silly. Anyway, so Dwarven Wall. This is more just a lazy, like what the room is going to look like. There's a barrel for our sexy dwarf to like bend himself over, and then thing, and then there's going to be like one character there and then one character here, and we're going to be looking at like inscription on the wall, I guess. Because I don't actually remember what this is referring to. I do know we did a fair amount of like reading and watching wall things while we were there. So this is in the Dwarven Enclave, just down the road from Magnacloak. So background story. And at the time there is a group of adventurers there trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Some of them know significantly more than others. And kind of aren't letting on as much. But basically, knockoff Skaven are attacking this dwarven mining fortress. And I want to make like Ileana hovering. just for the hell of it. But yeah, we have a Air Genesi Ileana, played by the lovely Lizzie Bell. We have Hastor Dragonborn, played by me, who's a bit of a shit. Because when do I ever play a character that isn't a bit of a shit? And then there were a few other characters, one played by Experimentor, one played by Bluebird, one played by another of Cognitive Bard's friends and her partner, Pono and Faeril. A drow and a Durga. Dark elf and dark dwarf. And so we go into this dwarven enclave thing. The darks. The Duragar and the Drow are there hunting the Skaven, the rat boys, the ratty boys. And there's a lot of like dwarfy shit. So we were trying to like, I don't know how to explain this very well. Basically, we were like just out of curiosity being like, oh look, there's a wall. Let's read the wall. And I'm pretty sure that's what this is referring to. There was another part where we were reading a specific inscription that related to like an anvil, hammer and an anvil, or striking a hammer or something. It was a riddle that like opened a door over here. That might be what this is talking about, but I honestly forget. I do distinctly remember us. Going into that chamber, the sneaky hidden chamber. But I don't remember the. But I don't remember the riddle on the wall. Or anything about it. So. Yeah. Why is the music stopped? Let's pick back up from the new shit. Nope, that's old shit. There we go. New shit. But from the few things that I do remember, Pono was one of the people who could read Dwarven script, and so he was taking point on reading a lot of the or translating a lot of things for us, which is a little odd because and then became apparent. My character can read literally any script. Hastor has Eyes of the Devil or Eyes of the Fiend or something. Basically, he can read any written language, magical or otherwise. And so I was able to just read and translate the Dwarvish. I really should have used it more often, or I could still use it more often to communicate. The fact that I can read any writing means that I could communicate with things that don't speak any of the languages we speak, which is super handy. I might have to play another Warlock, but like just a standard class Warlock. We pretty heavily homebrewed some stuff for this character, and because it was supposed to be for like not quite a one-shot, but like a one-ish shot. I sort of played it a little weirdly ish, and then there were some extenuating circumstances that sort of made the character go a little awry. So I think I want to play another warlock that's just like a standard warlock thing, and see what fun I can have with that, because I did like the warlock mechanics. Only having 2 spell slots sucked, but I did enjoy sort of the idea of the warlock build and the warlock mechanic and all that kind of stuff. That worked quite well. I think it was a pretty good option for me. So I would like to play that more in future and see what other interesting things I can come up with. I know I need to make this significantly better looking because it's a dwarven thing. So like, it's gonna have to have like funky architraves and bullshit all over it, I'm sure. Just not sure exactly how to do that here. Part of the problem also being that like I am making this in conjunction with Cog, according to Bard, so anything I do kind of has to be reflected in his stuff to a degree. Not definitely, but like it would be nice if there was cohesion across the things. So working off what he's already done, which I don't fully remember what it all looks like. I remember archways and architraves. I remember some like wall inlay like this, and then there was some like details sort of on either side kind of thing. I don't know what I'm going to do for the dwarven script. This is just going to be a wall inlay, I think. Like that. That looks alright. And then we'll... and then we'll do some like slightly more intricate bordering. Not sure exactly how we're going to do this, but we'll figure it out as we go. I still need to make a thing for like Chaos. I need to make her little avatar things. I did a sort of practicey run. Oh, Tia. No more Tia Cam. Let's turn Tia Cam off there. She's gone off elsewhere. Oh, thirsty daughter. Yeah, so I've got a few jobs. A few good jobs going at the moment that I need to get around to doing. And I do kind of feel bad when I take a little longer than I probably should with these sorts of things, but it is a problem for like artists and art making. Hi Tia. What you doing? Are you hunting for the pizza I had before, huh? Yeah. I know you. Good girl. Oh, she's back. Let's turn Tia Cam back on. Tia Cam. Oh, Tia. She's a good girl. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing here. Just Just playing around. Yeah, I don't like keeping people waiting with things, but there is also an aspect of like whenever you're doing a commission, like someone else's work, or like someone else's inspiration, it can take a minute to like build the motivation and build the idea in your head of what you want to do. It makes it significantly easier if you're already working on something else, like if you're working on things, so that the ideas keep sort of flowing through. But it's one of the things that I find really difficult about doing commission work. Is just being able to actually like stick to doing it. And not in a like, you know, I don't enjoy doing it sense, but just like it's significantly easier to have an idea in your head and then go, yeah, I'll execute that, and then you know, work on it as you work on it, and it'll evolve and grow, and you know, if it turns into something else, it turns into something else, and it's not an issue. Whereas if you have a commission, then it kind of is an idea already, and you have to stick to that idea, and you have to make that idea work the way the client wants it to be, not the way the artwork actually wants to turn out in the end. And you know, there are some people who will give you the leeway required to like make it work, or to make it look good. But most people just want you to make the thing that they want. And I'm gonna have to get better at practicing this because I'm gonna be a tattoo artist, or I want to be a tattoo artist. And that's definitely a thing where you have to like do exactly what they want, because it's gonna be fucking permanently on them. But there is an element of like, often that's things that are already done. Like you make an artwork first, and then you redo it on them, or they have an artwork already that they want you to sort of emulate as best as you can. And that's usually easier and better. Like I can do a study, I can do someone else's artwork if I have it in front of me. It's not super inspired as a thing to do, but I can do it. Alright, that's already looking... It's already looking better. So that's the room. Here's it a little more filled out. We are probably going to take... We're going to take this anvil and bring it onto a front layer. I think is the plan. Where is my just like draw select tool? Do I not have a lasso tool? Freehand select? Oh yeah, there we go. That's a little weird. Perfect. Alright. Delete you from existence. And bring you back there. Cool. And then I think no, I'll just leave these as background bases and then build on top of them. This is going to take a little longer than I kind of wanted to, but that's right. We'll work on it. What was I saying? Yeah, so like the commission thing can be hard to do, and this is sort of partially one of those things. It's not nearly as bad as like some of the other stuff, the other commission stuff. Like the one for Like Chaos is going to be a little rougher to complete. But I'll get it done because it's an idea that I enjoy. I like the idea of it, and I want to do more portraiture, so it's good practice, if nothing else. But I will actually also enjoy making this, and she has like an existing character idea. It's sort of formulated in her head, though it's not actually physically drawn out many places. So I'll work on bringing that to life for her. And but yeah, but it will still be difficult. It'll be more difficult than something like this, because at least this is fairly freeform. The prompt I was given was dwarven wall inspection, so it's a little more loosey goosey, which is good because it sort of needs to be. Just gonna turn this off for a second so that I can see what I'm doing here, because I've got this thing that I've got going on for the there we go. Yeah. Cool. Imagining he's got like a split robe thing at the back for the tail. Hastor Rare's robes. And then he's got a lovely draconic tail, which most Dragonborn don't have. But I'm kind of playing it off like his foray into warlockdom granted him some aberrant features that he otherwise would not normally have had access to. As a sort of general idea, reasoning. Alright, and then we're going to have Seraphina, little Seraphina just buzzing around over here. Super important. Okay, Ilyana. Let's see if I can do her justice here. I like sort of drawing her slightly different each time. Partially just because I think the sort of the idea of the character is very interesting, and when we were actually picking and designing the character, Lizzie Bell couldn't really settle on one image. She was bouncing back and forth between a few different ideas, and all of them were really cool as sort of ideas. So I do kind of like this. Do kind of like the different options that we can give her. So I like to draw her slightly different each time as a thing. but she is an air Ganassi. So she does a lot of levitating, a lot of floating around. She is ever so slightly arrogant and racist. At least in the world that we have sort of developed and created. Ganassi in general are very insular in their communities, and a little, I don't know, supremacist is probably the best word for it. They don't hate other races, they just think they're better than them. But I do like most of Lizzie Bell's descriptions of Ileana as being like very sure of herself, very very aloof, but not letting other people know it, and then kind of like gliding into a room, and sometimes literally, and that her hair is like a cloud in the wind, just like constantly gusting, blowing around. It's a fun idea. I have a Fire Ganassi character. Lashif. And Lashif has like literal fire on his head because he's a Fire Ganassi. So that's fun. How does that look without the background? Pretty good. She got a booty. Damn, she got a booty. I like that though. It's looking good. That is looking good. Looking gooder. So we're probably going to erase some of this background stuff. Is essentially the plan. But generally speaking, this is sort of how it's going to look. Still trying to think what the thing I was going to bring up about Critical Role was. I can't remember. If you haven't had a chance yet to check out The Legends of Vox Machina, which is their animated series, I would highly recommend it. It is very good, very good. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and Lizzie Bell, who hasn't actually watched the first, or much of the first campaign, because she joined me for the second campaign. Actually, I don't know if she's seen any of the first campaign. Now that I think about it. She really enjoyed it as well, so Why am I drawing on this lady? Ah! Let's get rid of that. Words. Words are hard. Anyway, back down to that layer. That's the one. But yeah, she really enjoyed it. So as you know, as someone who hasn't seen the actual game in its entirety, she's a good stand-in for people who, or example for people who have not watched it, who worry that they'll, you know, miss too much of the story. The story is definitely there. I will say, if you're planning on watching the game, there are a lot of spoilers, because it's literally just the game condensed into the story. But the Briarwood arc is still pretty early on in the campaign. It's like episode 30-ish. So like you'd be able to get there if you wanted to catch up on it. It's definitely not like at the end, 100 episodes in. But yeah, just I am mindful that they're like 4 hours long each, and some people can't commit to that kind of thing. So. All right, let's start chucking some color into this. That is an empty layer, perfect. Let's chuck it in the background. I think I want the roof to be slightly lighter and the floor to be slightly lighter than the rest of this, just ever so slightly. We're probably not gonna make this hyper detailed, like we're not gonna go into super detail with it, but we're gonna put in enough that at very least yeah, doesn't look like crap. But I think we're already well on our way to that. Looking good, not crap. I think that's fine as a block box here. I want to do ever so lighter. Nope. Lighten this inlay slightly. There we go. And we might do that to these as well. Just offset them slightly. And maybe even actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we might, these might be gilded. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're going to, ooh, none of those are great gold colors. That's decent. Sort of brassy gold, yeah. And seeing as we're colouring in these sections, what we might as well do then is gonna gild that, gild this, gild that. Perfect. Let's colour Ileana a little. Blue-skinned Genesi. That's a little bold. Let's bring that down ever so slightly. That's a little better. And then her hair is just kind of like white, wispy. And I think we're actually going to colour this layer ever so slightly more white, just to really bring out some of these sections a little more. That's looking nice. Let's back to this layer. White top. So we're going to have to go onto, this layer. This layer. So that we can whiten this top. Just a little. Cool. And then tan brownish pants, I think she had. So down here. From memory. Just gonna ever so slightly tan in that, and then much lighter for the book. Ooh, maybe significantly lighter again. There we go. That's it. Hastor. Hastor is a red dragonborn kicking around in it changes a lot. I think originally it was a black robe. But it's red there, so we're gonna stick with the red. I like the red. Kind of maroony. I remember it had gold trimming. That was sort of the idea I was going with of this, like having having like arcane symbols and stuff written all over his robe hem. And I kind of did like the balance of him being red and his robe being red as well. I thought it was an interesting sort of play. It is very overdone, but I'm tempted. This was a brain moment. Very tempted to do the for the cleric build that I want to do. I am very tempted to do the cleric run with a tiefling. Which is kind of cliche, but I like that about it. So that might end up being a thing we do. But yeah, I like that idea as a thing. Look at that, like magic. And darker in here. And then across like that, even darker again. Cool. We're gonna need to erase. Ooh, no, that is not what I want to erase. It's on this layer. Erase that. There. Here. Yeah, and yeah. I think that's it. That. Get rid of that. Back to this. Nice little yellow bee. Because she's adorable. I think that might be it. We might want to do something with this script. And I think having this be like golden like dwarfy runes would be cool. So I'm gonna do some of that in here, just nothing too I am intentionally obscuring it a bit because I can't be bothered learning it to write it out. I have done that before. Like, learnt a script to write out either transliterated or in another language. Usually a fantasy language of some kind. Which, you know, is a bit ridiculous. But hey, I'm a ridiculous kind of person. Where is what I'm doing? Where is my mind? Great song, by the way. Pixies? Is that the Pixies? It's certainly someone. Alright. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to put a shadow over the top of everything. Dark. I mean, just black probably is fine. Airbrush, fucking giant. Turn the opacity way down. And then just fucking go ham. And then turn the opacity up a little, turn the size down, and then we want to specifically do corners. Because the idea is this is a dark area. I believe this is in the forge room, so there is a light source. I don't remember if the forge was running at the time. This would be one of those moments where, like, DM notes would be great. Oh, did a thing. And technically I am a DM in that world, but because... as in the game... we use Roll20, so on the Roll20 app I am a DM for that game. But because we are still technically running within that world, I don't want to spoil some things for myself, because that'd be disappointing. Alright. I'm liking this music. The new stuff that I've added on here seems to work well with the stuff we've already got. So I'm going to keep that on. Do you reckon that's getting dark enough? Probably. It's hard to tell. Different screens. So I have two screens here. I have this one here and this one here. And they're giving me slightly... So they have slightly different color ranges, I've noticed. This big one, the one that I'm using, is supposed to be, and I don't believe this for a second, but true color. And the other one is a... so this is like high fidelity for video and art and gaming. And the other one is just a standard-y... it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't terribly expensive. So I have a feeling that the one I'm working off is supposed to be the right color, what you guys should actually see for realsies. But I just don't know. I don't know. I will have to watch the stream back on both screens and see what happens. But then the other aspect of this as well is that, like, you guys are on your own screens that have their own issues, so blah blah blah, blah, you know, etc. etc. I want to put down a drop shadow here. One there and one there. I'll do maybe a little smaller. Just to get some of these. There we go. That's it. That's it. Just clean up these edges slightly. There we go. It's this one that has all the barrel shit, isn't it? Yeah. Let's. Can we clean this up slightly? I have an issue with this barrel, but like it's the mess. It's the mess of it. That's the problem I've got. Alright. That shadow. Yeah, it's here. And I need to get rid of that. Because that doesn't actually make sense. How's that? Does that work? But yeah, that looks fine. Cool, that's looking good. I'm pretty happy with that as a thing. There are other characters in the room, but they might be on this side of the room as opposed to that side of the room. It is now 11 o'clock. I've been streaming for 2.5 hours. Oh. I'm going to quickly check if there's anybody that I want to immediately run to streaming. Nope, raiding. Brain's turning off already. Oh, so many options. Yeah. There are an excessive amount of options. Oh, sunshine's on. I think that's it. I think that's it for me. We're gonna raid out to someone else. I'm still kind of deciding who that's gonna be at the moment. But we'll save this while we're here. So this is Dwarven Walls. And we'll just go over what we did today. So we started off with our fungi. We did these lovely artworks. We did the oyster mushroom. We did this mushroom, which I can't remember the name of. We have this this lovely fungal dragon. We have our fungal liqueur. And then we finished the way we started, which is with a skull. And we found this cute little skull hiding in here, which was adorable. And then we went on and did this D&D drawing for the video that will be coming up eventually. So yeah, go and check out my Instagram for more artworks. There are 3 more artworks that I've been working on over the past week or 2 weeks. And apart from that, thank you all for joining us. I hope you had an awesome time. If you're watching on the VOD, feel free. There's a suggestion box down below in the About Me section. For anybody really, but like if you're specifically watching on the VOD and therefore can't join us in chat, the suggestion box down below, or PM me anything you would like to see, anything you would like me to do, create, play, etc. We are doing Valheim Survival Sandbox tomorrow, which will almost definitely be going ahead. The only reason why we wouldn't is if too many people are unhappy and not feeling well, and so we have to cancel. If we cancel, I will probably try and still stream something, because I'm not doing anything. I'm not working tomorrow, so I will have the brain energy to be able to stream. So please do let me know if there's anything you'd like to see in particular. Friday we're going to do Discord drinks, so if you're around for that would be cool to catch up. And then D&D on Sunday, if you are particularly nice on the Discord, you might be able to come and sit and listen in on our game. So let us know if that's something you're interested in. I think that's it. We are going to raid into probably Galactic Cat, I think. I'm just going to check where she's up to. She's streaming for 4 hours. getting pretty close to done, it's looking like. But we're going to stream into her anyway because she's a wholesome bean, and why not? So, no, /raid, not !raid. /raid Galacticat. Make sure you give her all the love. Send your warmest of welcomes. I'm gonna put my little raidy-doo in here. Oh, it comes up with the icons now. That's awesome. You can just copy and paste those if you are subscribed to me. If you are not, then just whatever your lovely heart desires. And we will catch you tomorrow, hopefully. Thank you so much for joining. Look after yourselves. Self-care, because you guys are all awesome, wholesome beings. And I will see you later. Bye, guys.